Describe in single words only the good things that come into your mind. About your mother?
My mother?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my mother.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric.
I'm Josh.
This is a podcast where we talk about all things cyberpunk through all the various forms of media out there. This week, we are attempting the, what would you call it? The visual arts,
A comic book?
it's a comic book. I was so professional for so long.
Let's see. I've heard many people describe them in highfalutin different ways.
I was trying to be
visual storytelling.
Ooh, yeah, it isn't a movie visual storytelling.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
There's. It's one of those things.
Interpretive dance visual storytelling.
Yeah. Hey, that girl from the Olympics. She told a great story about cake out in the rain.
Okay.
It's one of those things where comic books is honestly just the best way to describe it. You can go a little more in depth than that, but that's what it's called, man. There's no need to dress it up.
Well, it's a comic book called Transmetropolitan.
Transmetropolitan.
I was excited. I'm not a comics guy. I've read very few in my life. I remember I had an X-Men comic when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I had one X-Men comic.
Well, I have read many, many, many comics, so
it was a interesting experience. We'll get to it in a second.
Yeah.
First, once again, I'm going to explain that as we are a podcast about cyberpunk dystopias, we like to talk about the current dystopia that we live in, that we feel is undeniable and unarguably linked to the dystopias of these stories we cover. So that means we're going to talk a little news, mostly American news, because that's where we live.
Yeah. And what we see the most of and what we are, most likely to remember after a week of hell.
Yeah. So, do you have anything? Not that big preamble. I had nothing prepared.
That heavy kid punched out a dork wearing meta glasses for.
Yeah, that was actually the week before, and I was kind of sad we forgot to bring it up last week. I mean, it was right before we recorded last week, but yeah, that kid ruled.
Okay. Which is the proper response? Like, if you do this thing that is good for society, you're going to get in trouble. Okay, is the correct response.
It's really the perfect example of how we should all be living in these times. If you're not familiar, it's a meme of a high school kid who was confronting. Okay, the POV is from a little weirdo who's supporting ICE in his high school halls, walking down saying ICE rules and stuff, and everybody's mostly like, "You're fucking weird," and ignoring him. But then this young man says,
"It's actually a little more than that." The students were doing a planned walkout. He did not agree with the walkout, so he was protesting the walkout, holding a sign saying, "I love ICE," I believe.
I mean, and that's just nerd shit. Like, you get a chance to walk out of school, you should walk the fuck out of school, kid. Come on, who are you?
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets punched by a kid who did not care that he would get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we should. I mean, not necessarily punch randos. You use your own situational determination whether that's appropriate, but definitely don't be afraid to break rules. It's actually something I read about recently, and it's a muscle you kind of have to exercise, breaking rules.
For a lot of people, yes, it is real. It goes against every fiber of their being.
It does. Like, I mean, I believe to live in a society, there are ways you should behave, whether it's law or not, to just get along with everyday people, like, especially when it comes to like traffic and stuff. If somebody's trying to merge, let them in, don't block them, shit like that. And I don't know, there are some of these rules that have been put into place that it feels really difficult to break. But I feel like if you're in a situation where there's no harm done to anybody, it's good exercise to train yourself to break the rule. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really, it goes to a real basic tenet of philosophy or many philosophies, where morality does not equal legality, and legality does not equal morality. There are totally immoral laws and rules out there, and there are totally, illegal morals out there.
Yeah.
And you gotta, you need to think about it and consider where you stand, and you need to stand on that.
And you could start really simple too. Like, there is a particular intersection near my house that has a no right on red sign up. Even though you can clearly see to the left who's coming, you can clearly see to the right if there's any pedestrians or anything. And sitting there at that sign, I feel like such an idiot because you can turn right on red everywhere else. So I've just started turning right on it if there's no traffic and there's no cops and there's no pedestrians.
Rebel, you tell me your address.
I know. But it's shit like that. Like, disobeying signs is, for me, it goes against, it's hard. It's hard to disobey signs.
I think, okay. That I'm generally, I've got a, real defiance disorder thing going on. So I tend to, if somebody tells me a rule, I immediately say, fuck you, no, here are all the reasons that's wrong. But traffic signs, I invariably almost follow them.
Yeah.
I don't know why, well, except for speed limits, because those are bullshit. Everybody knows those are bullshit. Well, Stop being a baby.
Yeah. Even that I have a rule though for a personal rule where I go 9 over generally, because I've been told by cops that's usually with the limit they'll stop you at.
Yeah. But yeah, there are a handful of places where I have trained myself to completely ignore, a no right on red, or actually right by my place, there is a stop sign for a T intersection. And I have to go through this stop sign every time I come in and out of my, apartment complex. And
I think I know the one.
There is no possible way that I could get in an accident unless somebody else was doing something crazily illegal.
Yeah.
If I just pretend the stop sign isn't there. I mean,
right.
But so I've trained myself to not do that, but it takes a lot of work to get me past a traffic sign like that.
Yeah. And we're not saying fuck traffic signs, drive like a lunatic. But if you're in a situation where it's safe and the rule is doing no good, just practice the muscle, break the rule. I guess that's it. That's a good lesson. Just start breaking the little rules. Start preparing yourself to break the big rules, because I think the time's coming, and it might already be here. In fact, we see it every day on the news where the big rules are oppressing us and the people we care about, and they need to be broken sometimes.
Yeah. As do the big rulers.
Shall we move on to recommendos?
Yeah, that seems good.
I've started watching a couple things. I'm kind of between shows right now, and it's frustrating. My wife wanted me to watch this show called Industry, which is British, It's like
I watched the first episode of that, and I failed to get into it. I've heard from a couple of people, like, basically give it 2 or 3 episodes and it kind of gets on a roll when you get used to the characters. It is a big show. A lot of people like it a ton.
All right, maybe I'll stick with it, but I have given it 2 or 3 and it's not clicking.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the first episode back when it very first aired, and then I don't know, actually I've got my list up here. On the 19th of January, I tried to start it again and got like 1.5 episodes in, and then something else, some series I actually like wanted to watch that was fresh started. So I was like, okay, I'll abandon this and come back to it, and just haven't.
Yeah. It's so British shows don't get me as well as American made shows. And I think it has something to do with the lighting. I've been noticing it while watching this show, that even if they're in a dark scene, there's always some bright light somewhere shining up on their faces, which makes the whole show feel less authentic, more fake, and more British.
More key lighting is what you're talking about.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It seems like a small complaint, but man, it really, the show feels less impactful, like it has less gravity with these lighting tricks that they use over there.
Yeah, I can see that. There's also like, it's something that I've noticed, absorbing a lot of TV. There are some very different schools of how things look in terms of British television.
It's a lot more pink.
It's certainly a lot. It's either pink or gray.
Yeah. The 2 British colors.
Yes. But yeah, I think at least from our perception, probably a lot of it comes from the difference between PAL and NTSC video, where we got used to growing up, and this is no longer a thing. It's just not, there's a slightly different video format between the US and most of the rest of the world. So when we were growing up, stuff that was shot in the rest of the world just automatically looked different because there's like slightly different frame rates and stuff. It's why, it's why fucking Doctor Who looked really odd on TV when I was watching it in the 80s.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I agree.
It's like the difference between video and film.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of British TV, like production, both camera work and lighting work, comes from a slightly different school adapted to sometimes it can be kind of off-putting. And also, I don't know, I also specifically with industry was like, these people are, this is the worst industry in the world, and these people are really going for it. And
there's not a lot of redeeming quality. Like, everybody's just bad, and even the ones that are not bad yet, you can tell they're going to break bad. And
and I don't know. I like people who are on that show, and people that like I know show up in further seasons, like Ken Leung, who he was in AI 2 weeks ago. And
no, he's in the beginning. Yeah, he's one of the guys in the first couple episodes, and I'm like, hey, I want to see more of him, and he's good in it.
Yeah, and instead I'm like, okay, these fucking finance bros doing coke, cool.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that's what it is. It's a subject I'm not interested in. Anyway, we don't have to talk about it anymore. Do you have any actual recommendos?
I do. I watched a movie called Sentimental Value in the past week. It stars Stellar Skateboard, one of my guys, and Elle Fanning, and a bunch of Swedish and Danish actors.
Oh, okay. I know what movie you're talking about. It looked interesting to me.
Yeah, it was really good. Nearly all of it, when you see it, it'll be listed as being in Danish and English. It's like 85-90% Danish, just FYI.
They just slip out once in a while.
Because Elle Fanning plays an American movie star. But
stretch for her.
Yeah, it's a stretch. Dude, I realized watching this movie, like, I honestly think I will watch her in almost anything and totally enjoy it because
She's good.
she is so fucking great. Like, I don't think I have seen a single thing that she's been in that I haven't really liked her and hasn't been good. She's got a good picker sense as well.
Yeah, same with Stellar Skateboard.
Yeah.
It's the good duo. That's why that movie looked interesting to me.
Yeah, it's real good. Recommend that. I also watched I think it's Hulu, maybe Peacock, television series reboot of The Burbs. Were you aware this was happening?
I was not at all.
Okay, it stars Keke Palmer.
Okay,
of
cool.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
I love Keke Palmer.
Also Paula Pell of Girls 5 Eva. She was an SNL writer for a long time. And it's and Mark, I think his name is Prosh. He was on What We Do in the Shadows. He's the emotion vampire.
Oh, okay,
yeah. And it is a weird show. Like, they took the general framework of something people move into a house in the suburbs and something is going on in the house across the street, or so they think. And
I know that's the plot of The Burbs, but it's also the plot of a million movies.
Yeah, I know. It is really wild. Like, I do not know why they spent the money to call this The Burbs, especially when, like, it nods towards the and audience. It is totally fair if you are unfamiliar with this. In 1988, I want to say,
sounds all right.
There was a Tom Hanks vehicle. It was a movie called The Burbs, where he and his family move into this house, and then across the streets there's this fucked up old Victorian that I think there's killings going on, or at least they suspect there are, and possibly Nazi shit. I don't really remember. It's been a million years since I saw it, but I do not know why they went so far. I assume they had to pay somebody to call it The Burbs. And there is a still photo of Tom Hanks as, like, the town founder.
Okay.
And it's it wasn't a terrible show. It really should have been, 6 episodes instead of 10, I think. But because, that's how TV shows work these days. Keke Palmer's good. It's a real weird experience. I honestly, I don't know. It's very strange.
That's a confused amendo from Josh.
Yeah. Okay. I do have a recommendo, but only for people who are exactly me.
Okay. Let's do it quick.
It'll be quick. Okay. In 2019, I was actually shocked I had not heard of this before a couple of weeks ago. There was a program called Perpetual Grace Limited.
All right.
Never heard of it?
No.
Why would you? It was apparently on Epix, which
never heard of that either. Actually,
which was a TV channel. I think it was the channel that the Get Shorty show was on.
I think also Ash versus Evil Dead was on that. Maybe?
Was it? Yeah, it might have
been.
Maybe
I might be wrong.
You're in the right zone, though.
Yeah.
So this show, Perpetual Grace Limited, was created by the same guy who created Patriot. One of my great faves. It stars Jimmy Simpson, one of my great faves, as a guy who, in a kind of does a con move to infiltrate another character's parents' church and steal $4 million from it. And it's got
why didn't they just call it that Parker novel where they did that? I can't remember.
It's not an armed robbery. It's more of a long con. He pretends to be this other character who is dead for legal purposes after getting the other guy's parents kidnapped in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So they pretend they're dead. He's inheriting blah, blah, blah. Also has Ben Kingsley again from AI,
Mm-hmm.
and Louis Guzman from, of course, Pluto Nash,
and every other movie.
Yeah. And Damon Harriman is he's the guy. He's the guy who's pretending to be dead.
I feel like your recommendos have been Ben Kingsley heavy the last few weeks.
I do not know why. Yeah, I was totally shocked when he showed up on this show.
Okay.
It wasn't an intentional, boy, I'm going to watch a Ben Kingsley show. It was the guy who created Patriot also did this show. Oh, and it has Jimmy Simpson. Great. But yeah, I really liked it. It is on a very specific wavelength. If you liked Patriot, I bet you would like it as well.
Say the name again.
Perpetual Grace Limited.
I'll try to remember. Maybe Grace will be a trigger word.
Because it's the name of the church, like, bank account.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. That does it for recommendos. I think it's time to talk about Transmetropolitan, which I believe Josh had a preamble we have to do to talk about Transmetropolitan. You have to talk about its author, Warren Ellis, correct?
Yes, that is exactly correct. Well, one of the authors. Warren Ellis and Derek Robertson created Transmetropolitan, Warren Ellis being the writer, Derek Robinson being the artist. But Derek Robinson...
Really quick, has Derek Robinson done other things? Because his art looks familiar to me.
He has done a lot. He also drew, I think, nearly all of the Boys comics.
I haven't seen those. Has he done anything that got adapted?
Oh, yeah.
Besides the Boys?
Let's see. Probably. I don't know. He's a pretty big comic artist for the past 30 years. Let me glance real quick.
Don't worry about it. I can look it up while you're talking.
Okay. Anyway, more importantly, so Warren Ellis is the writer. Warren Ellis was and kind of is one of my favorite authors for something like 25 or 27 years. But in 2020, in the wonderful year of 2020, where everything was normal and fine.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah, it's great. I definitely didn't gloss over huge chunks of that in my brain. Unfortunately, this is not one I can. A couple of news stories broke about Warren Ellis doing a lot, and by a lot, I mean a lot of, I think probably the best terminology would be sexual coercion.
Oh boy.
For decades, where I think the general pattern was going further into background. All right, for years, Warren ran a thing called the Warren Ellis Forum. He started in comic books in the early to mid 90s. He was one of kind of the first fairly online guys, and he was one of the kind of enfant terrible, hey, we're modernizing and changing comics and kind of doing slightly different forms. But he started, he had his own website early and a forum on that website. I was on that forum for years and years and years, as was virtually everybody who ended up becoming a big comics writer and many artists over the course of the previous, quarter century now.
Makes sense.
So apparently what regularly happened was he would post, he would DM attractive younger women, and not at the time, at least initially, not that much younger than him, because he was like 26, 27, and they were like 20. He would DM them, offer to help them out, and actually, in many cases, did help them out. And over time, it would become it would go from a, hey, I like your work, like your, let me, give you the names of other people in the industry. This guy's looking for a cover artist, whatever. And eventually, it would end up in relationshipy, sexy, a lot of the time sending Hey, I'd love you to send me a picture of your tits, that type of thing. And this is not great. I mean, there's power imbalance there, obviously. The thing that makes this really, really, really unpleasant is that there are I want to definitely get this right, so I pulled it up, on the website somanyofus.com. There are somewhere north of 60 statements from women who he did this to.
Oh, damn.
Over years, and there are undoubtedly many, many more who did not come forward. A lot of them, this started as a like private hidden Facebook group for, hey, I heard that you were kind of in a thing with Warren, come join our group and talk to us, because we were also there. And it turns out he was doing sending like the exact same messages at the same time to 5 or 6 different women, and a real level of kind of dishonesty. And we have
browsing this here, it looks like he had a whole system set up.
Yeah, it's
to recruit new young girls.
Yeah, and it really fucking sucks. I mean, both for the obviously more for the women, because a lot of them had ended up in really unpleasant situations, especially because, like, if they, I don't know, got a real life boyfriend, or in a couple of cases girlfriend, and Warren found out about it, he would immediately cut off contact, immediately shut everything they had down.
Like that Matt Berry sketch.
Yeah.
The fish tank.
Yes, exactly. Possibly there are some indications maybe he badmouthed a few of them. No confirmation on that, but sure, I believe it. And yeah, he was basically spent 20 odd years building just kind of a rotating, rolling harem going along with a lot of dishonesty. And so this news broke in 2020. And it really sucks because not only is, if you've read the book, Warren is very talented, he was also, unless you were on the inside of the harem and coercion and grooming, I guess, is kind of a grooming spectrum thing. Warren gave all indications that he was a great guy and very cool. And I mean, I know and knew at the time, because like I said, I was on the Warren Ellis forums really regularly between, say, 1999 and 1995 or 2005, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
There are a ton of people on those forums who ended up, with his help, getting tons of good work, and they've done, amazing stuff since then. There were tons of, he brought a lot of really cool people together, and it was, kind of the genesis of what is right now in 2026, the past 20 years of good comic book work.
Well, unfortunately, it seems we're discovering that those early internet days, which seemed like coming together of great minds, where there's a lot of dark shit going on.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. It's
a bad scene. He made, once this kind of news broke, he made a couple of gestures towards, they have a whole thing on the So Many of Us website about kind of the rundown of what the people, I hesitate to say victims, but I guess, that's probably as good a word as any. Kind of what they were hoping for in publicizing this, which was, let's see. They've actually got a list here. They wanted Warren to acknowledge his behavior in its entirety, acknowledge his pattern of harmful conduct, acknowledge that he has callously hurt people, and contribute to transformative work to dismantle systems which allowed this to go on. And they had the whole thing with mediators and stuff like that. And I guess the process started, and at a certain point he bailed after he had put out one sort of apology thing, which is, it's a real weird fucking statement where he says, basically, I never realized I was in a position of power. I came from being a dorky, lower class kid. And then, so it never occurred to me that my mere presence could make people do things they didn't actually really want to do, even though, he's running this forum with thousands of members, and is, he was one of the most famous people in the world in comics at that time. And he's like, I guess I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to. And then kind of didn't go very much further than that. So
that's a great
bummer
caveat, because we're probably going to glaze the guy a little bit going forward. And I guess that's important to keep underneath it all.
It's fucking hard not to, because, I mean, like I said, the guy, he's been one of my favorite writers for decades. And it was the time when it came out, it was a wild fucking trip, because I was not in a great headspace, summer 2020, like a lot of people.
Why? What happened?
Yeah. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Oh, you were on break from Johnny in a minute, and you were really sad missing it.
It really was. Yeah. Yeah. It's, so yeah, it's fucking ugly. And I don't know. I don't know what to, I think the thing is, comic books, like movies and TV shows, are not the product of a single person. It's not like a novel where if a novelist says something I really don't like, then I can simply say, fuck you, I'm never buying one of your books again. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who worked on Transmetropolitan. It's not even just Warren and Derek Robertson. There are a ton of people involved with this book. And I mean, I don't see why Derek Robertson shouldn't get paid for work he did literally 28 years ago.
Fantastic work, by the way.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I totally get it if somebody doesn't want to give Warren Ellis money. I mean, I pirated the digital copies that I'm looking at, and I bought the physical copies I have used. So, but your mileage may vary.
It's the fucking argument of our times.
Yeah.
Death of the artist, et cetera, et cetera. And we don't really have time to get into it right now, but I would say knowing what you're getting into, which I didn't, by the way, until this moment.
Yeah. I specifically did not give you any background into this because, if nothing else, I knew we had to do Transmetropolitan at some point, or at least had to address why we weren't going to.
Mm-hmm.
And look, the guy write good. Well,
I think we can't call ourselves a cyberpunk podcast and not cover it, because it was pretty influential in the genre.
Yeah, it's in kind of the, it's probably in the top 10 of what's cyberpunk stuff, assuming you're being media form inclusive.
Yeah.
It's very cyberpunk. But I really felt I wanted to get that out of the way before we discussed this great comic book.
Yeah. Well, all right. It's a bummer.
Yeah, I know, right?
I hated it, by the way. Every page I thought was trash.
Yep. I thought you would.
All right, let's get real for a minute, because my background is absolutely nada with comics. Like I said, I had one X-Men comic. I mainly used it to learn how to teach myself how to draw. Like I didn't really even read it
Yeah.
for the story because it didn't make any sense because it was in the middle of a thing that didn't make any sense. So,
Sure. Yeah. Well, and honestly, X-Men have gone through years-long runs of this doesn't make sense unless you've read the previous decade.
Right. So I've never really read comics to like absorb a story as a storytelling medium, I guess. It sounds kind of weird, but I did. I mean I'm sure I've read something. Don't get me wrong. I haven't been in a fucking cave, but it's not been a major thing. And I quite liked it. It went faster than I expected. And I'm always like, how am I dedicating enough time to looking at the art versus reading the words? It's weird as over 40 adult to pick up comic books for the first time.
Well, it's, I don't know. I hate to say this because it's very stupid and doesn't mean anything. Comics are especially American comics are a unique art form.
Yeah.
I mean, just as all art forms are unique art forms, but
yeah. In fact, I would go so far as to say I've read more Japanese comics than American comics at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Because I have had a couple of those.
Yeah, I know you have, in fact, owned a couple of volumes of Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah, so. Blade of the Immortal. It's good. I don't think I have it anymore. That guy gets killed a lot.
He does. God, we got to do that Takeshi Miike series. Yeah. What do we call it? You making me crazy?
You making me crazy. I would lose a lot in text, but it's great verbally.
What? Yeah, it's not bad.
So how do we get started with this now that we know that its writer is a creep?
All right. Well, we get started with this in 1997. I think it was July.
That's what it says September on the cover, but
so that's one of those stupid wrinkles. Like magazines do the same thing, where they're forward dated for some reason lost to time. Like, I don't know. It made sense when magazines were going out on the Pony Express.
Yeah.
And you wanted to make sure that the people in Oregon knew they were getting the fresh news.
Right.
Or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So, Transmetropolitan is a comic book by DC, the same guys who do the Supermans and Speedermans.
I've heard of the Supermans and Speedermans.
It's on it was published initially under the Helix label, which is kind of, a sub-market specialty thing, and later got rolled into Vertigo, who published Sandman and stuff like that, which is, one of the other big non-superhero books of the 90s. So, and this was kind of Warren's big breakout, where he had done a number of arcs of, he did the Doom 2099 book, which I think is where I first read his work, back in 94, something like that, which is Dr. Doom in 2099. It's pretty cool. And
I thought it was like Doom, the video game comic book version.
That I bet somebody has done it.
I'm honestly. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, he had been bouncing around and done, bits and pieces, an arc here, a single issue there. But this was kind of his first big run, where he basically walked into the studio, the DC offices, and they said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And he said, "Hey, I want to do Cyberpunk Hunter S. Thompson."
Okay.
And they said, "Okay, we'll give you $5."
That's not very much.
I mean, it was probably
in 1997 money, I guess.
In 97, he actually I think he actually did relatively well off of this, in part because the Helix label was an important part of. I'm not going to get into the whole background of how comic book writers and artists get paid for stuff. It's bad as a rule, but he and Derek Robertson get co-ownership of this. So they get paid every time somebody buys a new issue or a new, volume of the collected versions. Which is unlike 99.5% of people in comics history.
Okay. I will say this comic book is extremely 90s. It feels, it's got that 90s edgelord thing, which is a little cringe now.
It's reading this just dragged me right the fuck back there.
Yeah.
This is I don't think I was reading the book in the initial run. I think I picked up like the first, trade paperback volume back on the street, probably after the second or third had come out. But yeah, this was my vibe in these years.
Yeah, we were embodying this kind of edgy, we hate everything. It's so Gen X. Like we don't care about anything, that therefore we're smarter than everybody else.
It's the only thing is the truth, and fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you if you're not behind exactly this version of the truth. I mean, and like I was, when I ran into this in 1999, probably, or I don't know, might have been 2000. I was doomed to love it already because I was already, hip deep in fucking Hunter S. Thompson. Right. And, this is like, and cyberpunk. This is exactly my shit.
It was made for you specifically. Yeah.
Oh, like if there were more heists, like this would be a perfect, genetically constructed weapon against me.
So, I guess nothing to do but to start it with episode. I have the hardest time not calling these fucking comic books episodes.
Issue 1. The summer of the year.
I know it's probably in the title and everything, but we're only doing the first 6 issues because we didn't know how to do this. I think it depends. It depends on how this goes. We're already an hour into the podcast.
Well, I am absolutely not going to want to run over Warren's list of moral crimes in the future. So
true.
So that'll cut 20 minutes out.
I've burned through it pretty fast. Like I found it didn't take me, but I wasn't taking notes on it to say on a podcast. So
yeah, it's the note like my first run through it this week. And just to be clear, audience, I have read this a number of times before, most recently probably about a decade ago. I don't know, sometime 2012, 2014, when I discovered that digital comics are now a thing. But yeah, my first run through took, maybe an hour for all 6 issues at most. And that was like reading the back matter and stuff, which is like the letters page or the editorial stuff, Eric.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with comics, that's called back matter.
Okay.
And then my notes run took me 2 or 2.5 times as long as that, because this is a very different format and workflow than I'm used to, oddly. But
yeah, I do know if we only do it 6 issues at a time, we're going to have 10 Transmetropolitan episodes, which I don't know if I necessarily want either.
I think we might, assuming we want to come back to this in the future, I think maybe we can do 2 at a time, and I'll figure out a way around the workflow, or we'll have to, we'll gloss over more shit.
I mean, we feel free to gloss. We could use some glossing here and there, probably.
Yes, and we are going to on a couple of these issues, because while they might be good, they are not relevant.
Yeah,
I guess. But anyway, issue 1, we start at a cabin up a goddamn mountain in the snow.
Up a goddamn mountain.
And there is a sign outside that says "piss off."
Yeah.
And somebody's screaming, "Does the word contract mean anything to you, Jerusalem?" And then we cut to interior cabin, a person who looks exactly like Alan Moore.
Who's Alan Moore?
Alan Moore is a very famous comics author. He wrote Watchmen, From Hell, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. From Hell was the Jack the Ripper movie 26 years ago.
Oh, right. Okay.
He is a wizard. He is from Northampton.
Okay.
And Spider in these initial scenes, give or take tattoos, looks exactly like Alan Moore. He is a famously... Oh, he also wrote V for Vendetta.
Yeah, I've seen that. I just Googled him.
He is a famously curmudgeonly... Like, he's super smart. He's also borderline insane and literally a wizard. He thinks he practices magic, and he smokes dope by the pickup bed load, based on stories I've heard. And I think Spider's appearance in these initial several pages is very clearly trying to be Alan Moore.
An homage.
1995. Yeah. He's a very principled, insane, but also moral person.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely a fucking dude. Anyway, he is a hairy beast man with a bunch of tattoos, and Spider is in the first page.
Yeah.
Turns out he is on the phone with his fucking editor at his publisher. And his publisher says, it's been 5 years. You owe us 2 fucking books, asshole. And Spider has been hiding in this cabin for 5 years. And
the dream.
Yeah, he's honestly living the dream. And this is Hunter Thompson in 1978.
Yeah.
It's been a paranoid couple of days for Spider because his neighbor has been nailing weasels to his door.
As you do.
That? Yeah, again, it's like, I'm not going to go on a big run on Hunter Thompson here, but if you know anything about Hunter Thompson, assume that Spider is doing Hunter Thompson shit.
Yeah, I feel like that was the elevator pitch, right?
Yeah,
Hunter
absolutely.
Thompson, cyberpunk.
1,000%. That is exactly it. That Warren has said that is the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, we probably shouldn't get into Hunter Thompson, although I also feel like he needs a little introduction, but Google him. He did some shit.
Hunter Thompson was a gonzo. He coined the term journalist of the, specifically the late 60s to the mid 70s was really his high point.
He was very big in the late 90s too. He had a resurgence.
Yeah, absolutely. He didn't recommend drugs, alcohol, and explosives, but it always worked for him.
Yeah.
And if you were cool in the late 90s to early 2000s, you agreed with that.
Yeah. I've recently seen conspiracy theories that he didn't kill himself and that he was murdered. Probably not worth getting into.
No, it's not worth getting into. It is absolutely bullshit. Less bullshit than his widow and his son looking for. They were trying to get a specific determination from the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department because of some life insurance things that had been held up for, at this point, 20 years.
Wow.
It's clear to everybody that Hunter committed suicide because, that's what happens when you're like that.
Yeah.
And, football season is over and you've got readily accessible handguns.
Would have been nice to have him for the Trump years, but
I think that regularly, and also I don't know. I don't wish.
Do you look back at people who died before the world got to the way it is now and like feel happy for them?
Like, I honestly don't know. Like, what? It's a really interesting question with Hunter because, as we will find out over the course of this comic book, assume that virtually everything that Spider does is something that Hunter would do, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to consider because he hated the Bush era so bad.
Yeah.
And like he also, and we'll find this out in the book, he absolutely hated and loathed Nixon, but at some level respected him.
Yeah.
Like the difference in the difference in Hunter Thompson's political feelings were that he hated but respected Nixon. Nixon is kind of the most loathsome person ever.
Right.
On the other hand, Bush gets absolutely no respect from him. He is the dumb fuck piece of shit garbage person who has stumbled into this. And just imagine the combination of those things coming together in Trump. Like, he either would have had a stroke Inauguration Day 2016, or he would, had he made it that far, or he would just be immortal and, cranking out 5,000 words a day. I truly do not know. Is it, should we feel jealous of that? Or should we be thankful that we are, that he didn't have to deal with this shit?
Well, yeah, like I look back on people like Anthony Bourdain and David Bowie, who got just the smallest taste of it. It didn't get to see Trump's final form. And I'm almost jealous of, not that I want to be dead, but I'm glad they didn't have to experience it, because they're I don't know.
Yeah, it's obviously my mind goes here. What would Bowie think of Trump? Or how would we experience Bowie experiencing Trump?
Yeah,
is a really interesting question.
He's British, so it wouldn't affect him as much, but it affects
British.
everybody.
But he lived in New York for 30 years by the time he died. 35.
Anyway, it's probably not what we should be talking about now, but it is interesting because I do feel like the recent times could have used a Hunter Thompson. And it's kind of a shame for us that he's not around, although maybe it's best for him.
I agree. And also I can't fault the motherfucker. You won out. And there's Hunter Thompson as an example is Hunter Thompson is a very specific example of why I do not have guns in my apartment.
Yeah.
I think it's
a smart move.
It's one of those, it can take a split second.
Yeah.
And I don't need to burden my audience with that.
You don't need to make it so easy.
Yeah, exactly. But guess what? All remaining 60 issues of this comic book is going to grapple with fucking Trump in one way or another, as we will see going further into this first 6 books.
Yeah.
Anyway, he owes his editor 2 books. The editor says, basically, you need to write me 2 fucking books. And of course, everybody knows you can't write politics from a distance. So get back to the city, asshole. And Spider has already spent all the money, is the important thing.
Yes.
He can't pay back the advance. So he, a naked, hairy, tattooed monster,
surrounded by rats,
loads up his Fiat 128 and shuts off the minefields and the smart guns for the first time in 5 years.
Sets fire to his favorite bar.
Shoots a rocket launcher through the door of his favorite bar.
Yeah.
And heads back to the city. The relevant caption on page 5 is, "Journalists do not cry." And I am a fucking journalist again.
This comic, and this is worth talking about at some point, although I don't know if we're the people to do it, but this comic romanticizes journalism in a way that the modern era has rendered
put the lie to.
Put the lie to. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Because we've seen where journalism went. And I get it, and it's always been a bit of a lie, but it's been made painfully obvious in the last few years.
is one of the things that, was when this book was coming out and previous to that, you could really say, no, there is alternative, journalism, all caps, can be a great quest for truth.
That's what I thought it was. Like, it was a noble profession to get into.
And I mean, sure, there are fucking hacks out there who are, just reporting whatever people say, but it can be the active search for the current truth.
And maybe there are still people, obviously, the problem is the people that are still actively searching for the truth have no way to be heard.
Yeah.
Like Substack can only do so much, and Substack lets Nazis talk on its platform too. So yeah, it's a bad state. I think it's one of the biggest problems we face today.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
Yeah, it's not great. So he blows up his favorite bar at the base of the mountain called Bastards, which is based on, actually, I should have fucking looked this up. It is a bar outside of Aspen, Colorado. And the exterior of Bastards looks exactly like this bar that Hunter always drank at. At the base of his mountain, retreat, the heavily fortified compound outside of Aspen, Colorado. This might not have come through in previous episodes. I've absorbed so much fucking Hunter Thompson over the decades that it is sick and unpleasant, and I don't know what to tell you, man. Just get used to it. For years when we were doing Creek of the Week, I'd regularly refer to our heavily fortified compound in Kansas City, Kansas, where we were recording from.
And it wasn't that fortified.
No, I did keep guns in the house at that point, but
yeah.
So Spider heads into the city, and on it's page 8, we get the first blips of the media arriving in the boxes.
I believe I read the city is based off of Toronto.
I have not read that anywhere. I have always assumed it was based on San Francisco.
I swear I read that in one of the, what do they call them, the back shots?
Back matter?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with back shots. In one of the back shots he mentioned, that was mentioned,
but
I could be wrong.
It's I always assumed it was San Francisco because he goes through the Mission District, which is a famous part of San Francisco. Also, it's kind of the city that Thompson is most associated with, because that's where he was based when he was doing Hell's Angels and Fear and Loathing, that type of thing. But
one thing I do like about it, and it is said in the back matter, that it's a city that's not really based in any time. Like, everybody's asking what time periods is in, and it's out of time.
Yeah, don't be a dork.
Yeah, and it's probably out of place too.
Yeah.
So it's just a city in the future.
We know it's a city located relatively near some mountains.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
So he gets into the city's communication sphere, which we can tell because he's got a bunch of boxes in the back of his car, and the fucking tablets and shit in them light up with absolutely crazy goddamn noise.
Yeah.
And he pays a toll, and with a toll worker who is, we're literally doing a defined border between the city and the world.
Yeah.
Which is going to remain through the course of the series.
He's got a little implant or something in his neck. I can't really tell what it is, but
the toll booth worker?
Yeah.
No, he is swabbing a spear. A sore.
Oh, okay. Gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But yeah, he's got some like borderline cyberware. He's he's actually he's a good depiction of a frontier person. He's got the beard and like the braids and shit that makes him seem, kind of barbaric and outside, but he's also wearing a uniform.
Yeah. He's watching a TV show where a guy has a gun in his mouth.
I mean, as you do.
Yeah, when you're sitting in a toll booth. Little do they know, toll booths wouldn't require people anymore.
Yeah, that's also true. And Spider says, "I'll be back for you, shit eyes." Which I've loved shit eyes as an insult for a long time.
The insults are very good.
Warren is a smart guy and thinks about a lot of things. And I think he was probably going into this book thinking that I am going to make a bunch of statements about our society, how its relationship to itself and technology is changing, et cetera, et cetera. But I also know for certain that he was like, how am I going to work in all these insane insults? And how can I tell people to fuck off?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of this book. So we go into the city. On page 10, we see something very important that Eric almost certainly missed. It is in the upper right-hand corner of the bottom frame. It's a giant poster that says, "I love you all."
Okay. I see that.
That is the Smiler.
Okay.
He is...
I have seen him in other spots in the comic that I've read.
He is arguably the villain of the entire series.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's, yeah.
We don't really get to him in these episodes, though.
We do not. We get to his opponent, though.
Yeah.
He ends up running for president against the Beast.
Nice.
But we go on. Now, the problem for Spider is he needs to write politics, but he can't do that in the mountains. And so he needs a place to live. He also doesn't have any money because he already spent it on bullets and drugs.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah. Also, these intro city pages are extremely cyberpunk. They're pretty stereotypical. Signs everywhere, boobs, advertisements.
Yeah, crazy looking dudes. I mean, just all sorts of cool shit. So eventually he abandons his car, gets out, walks into the print district, which is a magical idea that a city could have one of those anymore. Yeah. Like that's the most out of time thing imaginable.
That and toll booths.
Yeah. So he goes to the offices of The Word, which is a place that he knew somebody who worked years ago. And it turns out this guy he knew, Mitchell Royce, is not, in fact, being held prisoner and tortured. He is now the city editor.
Wow. He's come up in the world.
He has. But he basically convinces this editor, who is also a villain and an ally. Like he's an anti-hero.
Yeah, he's the what's Spider-Man's boss guy.
Spider-Man does not have a boss guy. No. He is a Professor X. How about that?
I was thinking Peter Parker's the guy that's played by
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, I was always yelling at him to get.
All right, sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Peter Parker's boss is different from Spider-Man.
Look, I know comic books. Yeah,
all right. So,
if Tobey Maguire starred in a movie about him, I know about him.
Yeah. So Mitchell goes ahead and hires Spider to do a column because Spider got real fucking famous, which kind of ruined him mentally.
Yeah.
After his election book.
Hunter Thompson probably had a similar experience.
That is exactly the case. Having followed his career very closely for a long time. Yeah. Hunter kind of got ruined by Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail in 1976.
It's one of those things, man. You want notoriety, you want recognition, but you don't want to be noticed or be recognized ever.
It's and it really did kind of ruin him because I personally think Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail is by far his best book. I used to read it, I don't know, every 2 years, certainly every 4 years, because I felt at the time that it spoke that it spoke important truths about how we run our country.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, he loved everything about it.
No notes. It's just one page. No notes.
No notes. Not at all. But that book ruined him because it sold enough that he made enough money and got famous enough that people were just giving him drugs anytime he wanted, and he could kind of do whatever and turn in a 2-page piece of fucking shit to the New Yorker, and they'd go ahead and publish it even though it was unreadable.
Yeah.
You know?
And then he had to be friends with Johnny Depp. The ultimate punishment.
Man.
All right, back to fake Hunter Thompson.
So Mitchell hires him to do a column. It's going to be a coup. He has to turn in, I can't remember, 5,000 words, every week.
Imagine journalists being able to just march into an office and say, I need a job, and have somebody start paying you to journalize.
To be fair, he does have a gun.
He does have a gun and a reputation. True. He does have a gun.
And they're the beautiful thing about this, they're smoking cigarettes, man.
Everywhere. Well, constantly. Every fucking frame has cigarettes.
Beautiful.
They're back, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's nice.
The kids are smoking cigarettes again.
Are they?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any evidence of that, but...
Well, I mean, it's not up to the levels of when we were young, but they're giving up the vapes for cigarettes because it's become a devil situation.
Cooler.
And cooler. Though also, I think there's a bit of the nihilism is driving it too, because I don't think the youth think they have 80 years to worry about losing the last 10 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I deal with the youths in my job. And I don't want to have them not have hope, but I salute any of the ones that don't have hope. You're the ones who are thinking ahead. All right.
It's weird, man. Like, it's a vibe I've had reading this whole comic that Gen X, nothing matters because everything's going to stay the same, is very different vibe from nothing matters because the oceans are going to rise and swallow us all.
He's going to eat us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different. And I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah,
I look back on the old ways.
It's been a weird time to live through.
Yeah. I look back with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Having the luxury of not giving a shit. Wow.
Yeah, honestly, one of the things that is completely unspoken and doesn't need to be spoken with this is that Spider does not sell out. Even though his writing is, a ton of money is being made off of it, he doesn't sell out. It's still his writing. Well, nowadays, in our world, God, sell out and get 5 minutes of comfort. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's really strange when you think back on how selling out was the ultimate evil. And now, we encourage people to get their bag by any means necessary because it's so hard to get a fucking bag.
I still agree it's the ultimate evil, but
it's a necessary
that's
one.
the old-fashioned bullshit in me. Yeah. I mean, you gotta look, man. There's no fucking ethical consumption under capitalism. What are we gonna do? Yeah. So Royce gets him to do a column, and subsequently provides him with an apartment and a maker. We'll get to that. It's like a 3D printer, but on drugs.
Literally.
Yeah.
100% literally a 3D printer on drugs.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And at the bottom of page 17, we get the thesis for why Spider disappeared to the mountains. Why he disappeared. The fans, Royce, they held me down on Bank Street once and tried to steal my gizzard. The fans and the noise and the TV and the bullshit. And I couldn't get at the truth anymore. Which is, in 1997 and 1972 terms, that's the point of a journalist, getting to the truth. At least, the point of your sort of mythical journalist.
I mean, I'd like to say it still is. I'd like to hope that there are journalists out there striving for that.
I don't know. This shit infected me so hard. This and actually Hunter stuff back then. Like, I truly think that that is what I am trying to do. I'm not just a hater. I am trying to get to the deeper truth of what we are looking at every week. And I know it's a failing and pitiful enterprise, but I try.
Yeah.
And it's, if you can't get to the truth anymore, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah.
Man.
Dang. Also, Don't forget this guy groomed kids.
Yeah. Also, Warren Ellis is a bad person.
God damn it.
I mean, yeah.
Really taints it.
Fucking 2026, motherfucker. It really does. So, yeah. Spider goes to his apartment. He sees a kid outside, makes the kid get him some drugs.
Yeah, that's just good use of time. The
Good
kid's
times.
on an IV of something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he tries to get the kid to get him some nootropics, basically is what we call them now. Smart drugs. But it doesn't really matter. He gets into the apartment. He goes into the fucking auto groomer, and it nares the shit out of him.
It does.
And this defines his look for the rest of the series.
This is the look even I, in my non-comics consuming life, was familiar with the guy from Transmetropolitan.
Yeah. The Spider Jerusalem of a million memes.
Right.
He is totally bald and covered with tribal tats and also some non-tribal stuff, but
Spider on the forehead.
Spider on the forehead, which I've considered getting myself many, many, many times. Like almost literally every time that I fully shave my head.
Yeah.
I think, do I just go out and get a fucking spider tattooed on my scalp? Like literally, 2 weeks ago, I shaved my head and thought, yeah, I could do that. Shit, why not?
Yeah.
And all I have to do is grow my hair out and nobody'd never notice it.
Yeah.
But
do it.
Like I said, I've strongly considered it.
Next time it comes up, you have my vote of confidence vote of,
I honestly have no idea where the nearest tattoo parlor to me is.
There's one a block away from my house, but I think they have a long waiting list.
Yeah, I know that one is very popular.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets out of the shower. He is completely bald. He goes to the Maker, which is a 3D printer on drugs. It has Marlon Brando's face. And he orders his uniform for the rest of the series, a black linen suit, urban weight, generous cut, and a pair of live shades for still photography. Say 2 gig onboard memory, keyed to my optic nerves, standard control. And the Maker goes ahead.
AKA Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Yes. And the Maker goes ahead and prints out the Spider Jerusalem glasses. I don't know what you want me to say.
One's a circle, a red circle. The other's a square rectangle.
Green rectangle.
Square rectangle.
And that's how he knows that the Maker is in fact on drugs.
Yeah. What the fuck are these? Some kind of joke? What's your problem?
Yeah, it's a good bit. Like it's kind of an interesting thing to so clearly be in the first issue. We are designing this character, and it works perfectly for the rest of the series. Like, after page, 24 of the first issue, Spider Jerusalem is set and enters popular culture, almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a pair of those glasses in 1999.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I didn't wear them because they fucking suck to look through. It cost like $6 at a comic book shop, but
it makes you look like 3D glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you couldn't see, but they were terrible. So I was like, oh, this is fun. I should get these. Okay, go ahead. I bought them at Gatekeeper, for God's sake.
Oh, nice. Shout out to the Topeka comic book / RPG store.
A
Still
place
there,
where,
I think.
Yeah, it is. Within the past 6 months, I've been in Topeka and seen it. Where I bought numerous at least a couple of volumes of this in trade paperback.
And I bought the majority of my Shadowrun books.
Hell fucking yeah. So, Spider's all set up. He sets the TV to cycle every 20 seconds. Just channel to channel to channel because he needs to feel the city. You know, what's going on. And we hear our first bit about fucking Fred Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred Christ, of groomer pedophiles.
A more Warren-ish figure than you would have initially, or more than I initially.
Didn't realize it was a self-insert as I was reading it.
Yeah. So we learn a little bit about the transient movement, who we saw a little bit of in the street scenes earlier. But it turns out that Jesus Christ, that Spider knows the leader of the transient movement, Fred Christ, who is kind of, I guess, looks like a half gray alien, half Ricky Gervais in his 1980s fucking Europop band. What was that called?
I don't know. You could say Bowie too a little bit.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah.
So transient means they are they are without species is what I'm getting.
Yes, they are
wandering between species.
They are attempting to transition from one species to another.
Yeah.
And
in this case, they're picking. I guess that comes in more in the next episode. Doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll come in the next issue or maybe the issue after that. We learn that there are they Venusians?
Might not be Venusian, but yeah, they're aliens.
Yeah, they're aliens that were that humanity met, and these people on Earth are doing gene therapies to change into that species.
And you can do it with animals too.
You can also do it with animals, yeah. But Fred Christ used to be a band manager once upon a time when Spider knew him. And Fred announces that the primary transient district, Angels 8, is going to secede from the city and the nation, ? They're throwing up some fucking barricades because apparently this worked out in Old Vilnius on Mars. Yeah. And then on the final page of the issue, which is should be 24 in a real sense, we see Spider heading out on the street. He's going to go investigate what the fuck is going on in Angels 8. And the top left-hand panel is a thing I see online a lot where Spider's lighting a fucking smoke.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty common.
Yeah. That's it ends with "City under my feet, home again." And he walks down the street.
Yeah. The back shots have a little, I don't know, monologue from Warren Ellis, where Spider seems to hate the city, but you can tell that he actually likes it. Like,
yeah, he can't survive without it. Yeah,
yeah, and then that's Backshots talks about cities versus rural and how important cities are, which I would agree.
Yeah,
and then a lot of rural people are afraid of them, which is very true.
Yeah, that is certainly the case.
That's going to do it for part 1 of the Transmetropolitan 2-parter. Thanks for hanging in there. I know this episode's a little bit shorter. Next week will probably make up for that. So in the meantime, if you want to find us on the internet, please send us an email at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Bluesky and find our Patreon, patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Or if you give us a few dollars, we'll watch a movie at you. What a deal. Also, we are on Discord via the Astronomica Podcast Discord server, which you can find at astronomicapodcast.com. We have a channel in there. We would love for you to stop by and say hello. Yeah, that's about it for this week. Until next time, thanks. We love you. Goodbye.
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Bluesky at High Tech Low Life. Email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's go. They're trashing our rights, man. They're trashing the fluid data. They're trashing. Everybody, hide the blood.